Is it that we are suffering from inferiority complex? Is it that you feel inferior to the white man? Why do you call the white man when this matter requires an African solution? You know, this eagerness to appear to be relevant in the international scene will bring down William Ruto. We should not subject President William Ruto for a mental checkup to check his mental incapacity or capacity. It is not 41 versus 1. It is Kenya versus one man Ruto. And the other house is crumpling so fast and furious. Yeah? It is burning. It is burning.
Kenya Kwanza.
It is burning.
This is a very serious matter, you know, and actually it should take the anger of this country, because why are we allowing young men, young boys and girls to be kidnapped, only later to be found killed? Surely, what kind of country are we?
But you know, God is on our side, Jed. God is on our side. We have the people power and we have the will power. Those two are lethal combinations. Freedom is coming tomorrow. Freedom is coming tomorrow. What gives him the idea that he can do as he wishes? This is not his personal house, this is not Sogoi. I think the president needs to stop being simplistic.
Is there a vacuum post Raila?
Play one clip where Ruto has spoken truthfully.
A very good day to you and welcome to Philip Kisia Unscripted. My name is Jadiel Kabiro. I'm so happy and I'm so overjoyed that you are always with us every single day for these conversations. Here conversations which we say we hope will help our political leaders in making better policy decisions and informed political moves. It is the 31st day of January. The month has come to an end. We're looking at February. What decisions do we hope that our political leaders can actually make? What coalitions should those who want to unseat Ruto actually be in? And is it possible for President William Ruto to be unseated now that there's all these conversations about the economy, about abductions, and you know what we need to do to unify this country? I'm here with Philip Kisia. Philip Kisia is a leadership and governance expert, former Nairobi town clerk, actually the last Nairobi town clerk. He's done a lot for this city now, proposed executive director of Azimio la Umoja, One Kenya Coalition Party. Great to see you. How are you doing today?
Horrible. Horrible. It has been a terrible week. When we are losing our children, young children, the future of this country through extrajudicial means. And before we start the program, Jed, I would want us to observe a moment of silence in honor of Martin Mao and Justus, who were found murdered. And the murderers know themselves. And if they think that we didn't see them murdering our children, God saw them murdering our children. A moment of silence. So Jed, it has been a sad week, but I will want us to talk about that one as we end the program, because I'll be asking questions to Kenyans. In fact, I only have one question. Why are they not angry? Why are the children being murdered and they're doing nothing about it? Why are they not angry? But Jed, before we dive into the program, I have one or two highlights. The first one is a crisis we have in Congo or DRC. It is so shameful what the people of the Democratic Republic of Congo are experiencing. It should not be happening in this day and age. But there we are, Africans. And our inability to just govern ourselves and govern our nations. And I think it is Museveni who said during the African summit that was held here in Nairobi, I think it was last year, and he said the challenges that we're facing, and I think these challenges had even been identified by people like Mwalimu Julius Kabarage Nyerere. But even my quote, Museveni, he talked about philosophical challenges, ideological differences, strategic and economic challenges, or mistakes for that matter. But if you see, all those issues can be summed up into one issue. Poor leadership. Poor governance that is promoted by those who are currently in leadership positions in Africa. Then, as I was reflecting deeply into this matter, I asked myself, Jed, was Africa cursed? Why do we have poor leadership only in Africa? Most of the African countries have now been independent for more than 5-6 decades. Why do we still make reference to our colonial masters 5-6 decades later? What we are seeing in the Democratic Republic of Congo, these are things that are man-made. Because the question is, who is this M23? They are known. Of course, then Rwanda has their defense forces. The Rwanda Defense Forces. Then we have Uganda Defense Forces. Now we have SADC, all the way from south, coming to the eastern region. And you wonder, and you ask yourself, why? Because this, to me, is an East African matter that should be dealt with by the East African region. Why should we ask, or why should support come, the so-called support come from the south? Yet we've not solicited for support. Then I asked myself, what is so difficult in African Union calling for a serious meeting and looking into the eyes of one Felix Tshisekedi? What is so difficult in summoning Paul Kagame in a meeting? What is so difficult in asking Yoweri Kaguta Museveni to sit in a meeting? What is so difficult to face Cyril Ramaphosa in one meeting and ask them questions and ask them why they are allowing Africa to get into turmoil? Where is the problem? Where is the challenge? Why are we allowing lives to be lost? Why? But I think most critically, because the challenges are facing are man-made and they can be solved in one sitting, because we know it's a matter of interest when it comes to DRC, because we know you can't persuade us that the Hutus and Tutsis who reside, who geographically found themselves in DRC and are not nationals of DRC. Okay? The problem are the minerals, the mineral resources that in that particular region. And everybody wants a piece of the pie. But what was most disturbing is my president and friend, William Ruto, who is holding a very strategic and key position in the region and in AU. I think he's now in charge of reforms or something like that. Why the president can make such a goof. You know, you saw the president looking so excited. He even went to the extent of issuing or, doing a tweet to the effect that he has spoken to Emmanuel Macron, some Kaburu in France. You can now see why I was talking about the colonial master. Mm-hmm. And we still have that hang-up of the colonial master. You ask yourself, why didn't President Ruto call his peers? Why didn't he call his peers within the African region? Because this is an African problem and it requires an African solution. I want you to look for that video and play it before I make the final remark on that particular matter. Look for that video.
Kenyan President William Ruto, who has faced a bit of a backlash because not everybody is happy with the disclosure that he's briefed the French president about what is taking place in the Eastern DRC.
It goes back to what we spoke about, the genocide. You know that in 1994, Belgium and France were fingered in that genocide. So when you are a head of state, you don't call your peers in the region, in the Great Lakes region, or at least someone on the continent. You call France. If at least he had said, I didn't even hear him say, I've called President Ramaphosa, who has lost 9 soldiers, or Malawi. You stand there, you are proud, I have engaged Macron.
Welcome to Herencia, the heartland of good living, where you belong. A community with endless possibilities. Your path to discovering a master planned gated community that matches your ambitions. Get yourself this must-have piece of paradise with state-of-the-art amenities, constant water supply, good security, tarmac roads, and much more. The best part, availability of buy and build financing services. Don't wait. Contact us today or visit our offices for more info. Buy and build your way at Herencia, the heartland of good living.
That is media from South Africa are actually asking why President Ruto is, communicating to the French president over what is happening in DRC.
Correct. Why? The question is why? Why not talk to your peers here in Africa? Is it that you are suffering from inferiority complex? Is it that you feel inferior to the white man? Why do you call the white man when this matter requires an African solution? Is it that you are not confident of yourself? Is it that you think you are incompetent? Why run to the white man? This eagerness to appear to be relevant in the international scene will bring down William Ruto. Oh. Because he will start losing respect among his peers. People, I'm sure, people like Paul Kagame, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, and the rest, I don't think are very excited that they are there. They could have been consulted, but my friend and president decided to pick a call and talk to some white fellow in France. Yet we have brains in Africa who can deal with this particular challenge that we are facing. Then that also reminded me, and I want you to look for that video for Kaluma. It's 45 seconds. Just look for that video.
Nataka kuwaomba muangalie Article 144 of the Constitution. And I'm just ending Senior Counsel Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka. We may be laughing thinking ile uongo ni normal, but siku moja yule jamaa atatoroka akimbie akiwa mad. So we must begin thinking about how we can remove William Ruto from the presidency of Kenya on account of mental incapacity. I don't think his lies are normal. I don't think those lies are normal.
We are now in that place, Kisia, of questioning the mental capacity of the president.
It is not me who questioned. At least Kaluma, when he was talking sense, he talked about Article 144. He talked about whether we should not subject President William Ruto for a mental checkup. to check his mental incapacity or capacity. It was not me. The point now being, shouldn't we be revisiting that proposal? Shouldn't we be revisiting that proposal that that was made by Honorable Kaluma? The last highlight, Jed, this week, I attended the inauguration of DAP Kenya. My brother, Honorable Eugene Wamala's inauguration. You know, he's opening his new office, his new headquarters here in Nairobi. And the turnout was excellent. We were all there. Okay? But even, I think, you know, so that we can get things into context, I want you to look for that video for Rigathi. Look for that video, Rigathi's video.
On the most corrupt person in the world. And we are unhappy that you are rigged. Instead of giving you number one, they gave you number two. Of course, I could not agree to corruption. The State House of Nairobi is the real center of corrupt activities. And there are two, watu wawili, moja anaitwa Adil na mwingine anaitwa Jayesh. These are the conveyors of corruption in this country. Mimi pia nikichwa ngumu. That housing, initially we believed in the president. That ni ya kuleta ajira, nini, maneno kisugu mingi, we looked okay. Until it came to my attention, it has nothing to do with housing. Ni biashara.
Well, it's former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua talking about his situation when he was Deputy President and how things run in State House.
You see now, Jed, in this same program, I talked about housing.
Yeah.
For so many months, I talked about housing, and I said, this thing is a scam. This thing is business for people. This thing is not there to address the housing challenges that we are facing in Kenya. This thing is there for people to make money. I'm happy now Rigathi and the rest have seen the light. They have seen what I was talking about. Okay? Rigathi also talked about something very important because we want to put it into context. He talked about the president, that this Kenya Kwanza government being a government of lies. And he wanted to run away from lies. He decided, no, I'm a truthful man. I must run away from lies. Okay?
Yeah.
The president was in Western Province a few days ago. In his own manifesto, in his own promise, in his own MOU signed by the son of Hannah, my good friend, Wycliffe, Musalia, Mudavadi, and Moses Masika Wetangula, they signed a document where the president promised 1,000 kilometers in 5 years. We have done half of his tenure. We don't even have 3 kilometers, leave alone 1,000. There's nothing. So Rigathi is saying, this is a government of liars and lies. And on that note, I want to assure Kenyans that as government in waiting, and I want to confirm what Rigathi said on Monday, immediately we take over government, there will be executive orders issued. And one of them will be to restore the dignity of your payslip. Right now, people are saying, take the payslip, take it. Yeah? Let me keep the taxes.
Oh.
Yeah, you take my salary. Let me keep the taxes. Because the taxes are more than what you earn. So we are in a very bad space. And we must restore the dignity of our people because our people are suffering. The other thing that I also want to confirm, that immediately we take over, things like Shah Chief will be the thing of the past. Those are useless things that are not helping our people. It was just money. And I'm happy that now members of parliament are talking.
Yeah.
Members of parliament who voted for this thing are now saying that this thing is not working. I'm happy. It was only Peter Selassie and Wamboka, a few of them who were talking, okay? But they were threatened. But you know you can't threaten a Luya man, okay? And you can see Wamboka is a Luya, Selassie is a Luya. You can't threaten us, okay?
Yeah.
So, what I'm saying, Jed,
Yes.
is that there's hope for this country.
Yeah.
And this idea of some people sitting in a corner somewhere and trying to push this narrative that there'll be 41 against 1 is a pipe dream, Jed.
Oh, there's that too.
Because, yeah, there's that move. There's people pushing that narrative that, you know, the Mount Kenyans, you'll be in a corner and other. No, it is not about Mount Kenya. It's about Kenya. And I can tell you this time round, can I shock you? It is Kenya versus one man.
Oh.
Kenya versus one man. Who is likely to be the winner? Kenya, right?
Yeah.
The whole country is against one man. So, good times are coming, Jed.
Yeah.
It is not 41 versus 1.
It is
Kenya versus one man Ruto. Okay? And on that note, Jed,
Yeah.
we are a team. There's Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, there's Rigathi, there's Karua, there's Omtata, we are a team on one side. We only have one common enemy. People who are allowing extrajudicial killings to take place, people who are put Kenyans through pain of high taxation and corruption, that thing will end in the first 100 days. And therefore, Jed, freedom is coming tomorrow. Freedom is coming tomorrow.
Let's get into the context of our conversation today, because we are asking one simple question. Who can unseat President Ruto? Of course, Philip Kisia here now says it's Kenya versus 1. But can they put their differences aside when it comes to personal ambitions? We all know everyone wants to become president. Talk about Martha Karua, Kalonzo Musyoka, Fred Matiang'i, who is now being backed by Jubilee Party. We all know there is Omtata out there has put his foot down and saying there's an exploratory committee that has been put in place so that to see whether he's viable to win the presidency in 2027. If we actually get there, there actually talks of we won't get to 2027. But I want to talk to Kisia about this. Kisia, look, multiple figures, multiple names, all of them want to become president. Matiang'i has been the first one to be backed by Jubilee. Many would have expected the name will come later. But then you look at these parties being formed. DAP, you say you were in that launch. There's this party of Gachagua that is to come up. Shouldn't the opposition focus on one party and one name? And do you believe, or do you see a situation where these individual interests will overtake, the coalition's bigger interest of unseating Ruto?
Let me tell you this. First of all, we who are currently in the opposition or in the minority, I can assure you, Jed, from what we are seeing, there will be no contest.
Oh.
There will be no contest. I had I think a week or 2 weeks ago, the president saying that we'll have running stomachs. Let him prepare to have several running stomachs. Okay? But even before I answer you, because you've talked about party positioning, you've talked about new parties, you've talked about individuals. Interests. Look for that video. Why I'm telling you there'll be no contest. And the other house is crumpling so fast and furious. Yeah? It is burning. It is burning.
Kenya Kwanza.
It is burning. Look for that video where the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya is warning a politician, my very good friend and sister, Cecily Mbarire, Governor of Embu. Look for that video.
I met with my sister Cess, the Governor of Embu, who is also my sister and somebody I love and somebody we've walked a long journey together, politically. Kawambia sasa wacha ni kuongeleshe my sister, not as the Deputy President of Kenya. Wacha ni kuongelesha kama ndugu yako and your age mate. And you will do nothing about what I'm going to tell you. Amuliza Governor, how is it possible? You're the national chairman of UDA. You are a UDA governor and the national chairman of the ruling party. Your party leader, the president, comes to your hometown and is heckled. What reason do we have to have you on board as the... Yeah? How is that possible? It's not possible. Yeah. Vijana wanapigia rais hapo kelele. Ati rais amesema kitu ambayo labda hawapendi.
You know, Kisia, who would have thought that Deputy President Kithure Kindiki would actually say that in front of the public, talking about Mbarire?
You know, Jed, first of all, how can an appointee, you know, Professor Kithure Kindiki, is just a mere appointee. He was not elected by anybody. He's just an appointee of William Ruto. And he should address elected leaders with decorum. I know Cecily Mbarire. I've worked with her. She's a woman of honor. She's hardworking. She's smart. She's honest. And I can tell you, Jed, that house is crumbling.
Why did she let people boo Ruto? That is the question.
Let me tell you, when you see a deputy president warning a national leader in the same coalition, saying that you have no business being in this party if people are heckling the president and you are there and you are the governor. What do you expect Cecil Mbarire to do? To go around, you know, fighting with 20, 30,000 people? What do you expect Cecil to do? The ground has shifted. Do something about it and stop the blame game. And on that note, I'm asking my sister, Cecil Mbarire, you are our wife. You are married to my brother, Apa. You are a lawyer. Please, for heaven's sake, and a Kenyan, waste no time. That house is burning. The house is coming down. But let me answer your questions, Jed.
Yeah.
You know, we have an understanding. And this is what is forming our understanding. That we have one country called Kenya. We also appreciate the fact that we have a common enemy. Common. Who has inflicted pain on Kenyans. One person, we know him. We have common challenges. There are many, and you know them. Okay? Therefore, it would be very stupid of us not to come together and form a team to deal with that challenge in a very strategic fashion. So we are going to take a very common approach in addressing that challenge, in removing William Ruto from power. And on that note, I can assure you, as a person who will be there midwifing the coalition, we've all agreed that this country is bigger than all of us. I can tell you the knack moment of 2002 is back. We want to salvage this country. We want to remove it from dictatorship. We want to remove Kenyans from pain. Okay? Therefore, we are going to set away our personal interests and deal with common interests. Because we believe, all of us believe, that we must start preparing to hand over this country, the leadership, to the new generation.
Okay.
Handing over, we must hand over something that is functional, not something that is completely finished. So we have a job to do. So it is not about who becomes what, but how, as a team, we can deal with the challenges that we are facing. We know for sure that on the other side, where we have only one person, who is everything, mkulima number one, mwalimu number one, mkulima wa miwa number one, everything number one. We know that he has deep pockets. We know for a fact. We know he has the deep state. We know he has a state machinery. Therefore, we must derive a strategy that is going to deal with this man decisively by setting aside our differences. But you know, God is on our side, Jed. God is on our side. We have the people power and we have the will power. Those two are lethal combinations that will drive William home and send him to Sugoi by 10 a.m. on the day of election.
I asked you about the parties though. I asked you, why is there DAP being launched? Why is Gachagua coming up with a party? Isn't the best thing to actually fold parties and form one party?
You see, it's politics.
There's that side too.
Okay? So there's nothing in having so many formations. It's like, you have a military formation. You have this battalion here, you have this battalion here, you have this battalion. Each battalion will have their job to do. So those are battalions that are getting ready to carry out the assignment they'll be given. But I can tell you without fear of contradiction that we are going to fold into one unit because we must defeat the enemy. We are going to defeat the enemy. And we know that the person who is currently in power has all those things I've talked about. But on the other side, we have the people power. And I know you've talked about Matiang'i. But let me address that question.
Yeah.
That he was nominated by, or he has been proposed by Jubilee.
By Jubilee, it is important because people are thinking there is division.
Let me say this. If you are watching us, it was live. My friend, Dr. Matiang'i, sent a message to the people of Kenya through our Senator Onyonka. And the message, Jed, was so clear as day. He said he's coming to join a team. He said he's coming to consult with others. He said we are facing the same problem. We have a common enemy. And therefore, this thing of being proposed for this or that is immaterial for now. It's completely immaterial, actually. Yeah? What is important is to come together as a team and deliver victory. We know that the state machinery is working day and night. They're working day and night to ensure that we're not united. But I can tell you, Jed, that is why I'm sitting there. That is why I'm going to spend up to my last breath to make sure that this coalition you're going to form will be a stronger coalition than what we had more than what we had in 2002. You can actually mark that in your diary.
I'm looking for the...
Mark that in your diary, that the son of Grace, the son of Mama Grace,
yes,
has told you on this day that the coalition being formed, it is there to salvage this country, to save it from dictatorship, to end extrajudicial killings, and all those painful things that are being taken through by this current regime. Kenya is bigger than all of us. That is our rallying call. And I can tell you, we stand united.
If you're looking at the progress we saw last year with Gen Z, and then you ask yourself, who's the most viable candidate? You know, we talk about Gachagua, we talk about Matiang'i, we talk about Kalonzo Musyoka, there is Eugene Wamalwa. You know, who is the best face? For some would say, you know, Omtata has this, the Gen Z have a soft spot for him. They might actually want him to be the face. Have you thought about who the face should be?
You see, I've been talking about for so many months, I've been talking about the difference between a leader, the so-called leader, who suffers from the big L syndrome. Okay? Bwana Mkubwa. That's why the Bwana Mkubwa that we have is fighting everybody. That's why the Bwana Mkubwa we have, he knows it all. He knows everything. So we want to move away from that syndrome, the big L syndrome. We want to move away completely from that syndrome. We want to move to leadership, where we believe that we are all equal partners. But everybody has a strength given by the Almighty God. So we are going to use each and everyone's strength to build this team, to build a formidable force. So at every stage, there will be a leader. There will be a human being exercising leadership, providing leadership. Okay? But I can tell you, at a certain point, we are all going to agree that we need somebody at the steering wheel. One person, not two. That time is coming. But for now, I can tell you, Jed, we are all of us going to exercise leadership. We have strengths in different capacities. That is what we want to build. Not who is what. Because each and every contribution will matter. Each and every contribution. Contributions from the Gen Z. And they have shown, they have proved to Mr. Ruto that they can crush him. They have proved. Through what? Management Information System. They are just using MIS to crack him. And you can see the man is breaking down. You can see the system is breaking. They cannot catch up. And they will never catch up with the Gen Z. So we are going to use that for that particular area, that space. We leave it for the Gen Z. Because you cannot get better people with capacity to deal and provide leadership in that particular area. So what I'm saying, Jed, in short, everybody will have a role to play. But what is most important, and that's what we want everybody to take cognizance of, is that this country called Kenya is bigger than all of us. This country called Kenya can be led by anybody at any given time. So long as you have a strong team, so long as you have a clear vision, and you avoid the problems that we currently have. The Bwana Mukubwa syndrome, the big L syndrome. That is what we must kill. We are going to remove it.
So if
we are going to kill that syndrome of thinking that you know everything. When it comes to farming, when it comes to health, you are the expert. When it is roads, you are the one talking about roads. When it is bonuses, you are the one who want to give bonuses. Some jobs, leave the jobs to the experts. And you, as the person providing overall leadership, focus on the main vision. But get the teams to
let me ask you this: you sit
to work.
You sit with them, Kalonzo, Malwa, Gachagua. I saw your photo with them. Do you think they will shelve their ambitions? Do you think when it comes to that point where you said the steering wheel, do you think they will shelve their ambitions and once the agreement is made, it's either Matiang'i or Kalonzo
or Philip Kisia,
yes, or Jadiel Kabiro?
Yes, why not?
Do you think everyone will shelve their ambition based on how you've interacted?
Not what I think. I can tell you that's what will happen. It happened in 2002, where Baba shelved his ambitions and said, what? We can only have one person at the steering wheel. We are equal partners. But the steering wheel only needs one guy, okay, to drive our vision. So don't have any doubts. I can tell you, Jed, it is going to happen. It happened in 2002. It will happen again, maybe even before 2027. It's going to happen. Have confidence, have faith, join the team, the winning team.
All right.
You have space. We have space for each and every person.
All right.
You have a role to play.
There is Raila Odinga, who is vying for the AU chairman's seat. How will his exit influence the coalition? You know, people think, Raila is this crowd mover. Without him, there is no opposition. And you're also an ODM member. How has ODM planned or aligned itself when it comes to this movement to unseat Ruto?
Let me tell you this. I think some people have misunderstood my party leader, Raila. A few of them, those are business fellows. They're in ODM to do business. But those who are in ODM to stand with the ideals of ODM, who believe in true democracy, who believe in fighting corruption, okay, who believe in servant leadership, are the majority. And at this point, if you are doubting me, The Secretary General of ODM is Sifuna, Senator Sifuna. Yeah. Look for that video. Sifuna has answered you.
Umechoka kutetea wananchi, umechoka kusimama na haki. Wewe ondoka ndani ya chama, uende uingie tu UDA mara moja, mkue huko na Ruto, si ndio? Kwa nini unajifanya wewe unapenda rais sana, mtu ambaye anasimama na chama ingine? Wewe umesahau wewe ni mwana ODM. Kama wewe umechoka na ODM, ingia tu kwa Ruto direct, mkue huko tujue nyinyi watu ya UDA na sisi tubaki kutetea haki za wananchi. Wamesahau chama kilitoka wapi. Wamesahau ni nini chama cha ODM kinasimamia. Wengine wananiambia sasa wamechoka kutetea wananchi. Wanasema hawakuzaliwa kukaa ndani ya upinzani. Wanasema wamechoka kutetea haki zenu. Mimi nataka niseme vile umeniambia hapa, mimi nitazidi kusimama kwa ukweli.
That is Edwin Sifuna, Kisia, talking about ODM. What is the strategy?
You know, we have a father called Raila Amolo Odinga. Okay? And I can tell you, Africa needs Raila right now. You can see the crisis. It needs somebody with experience. This DRC. Yeah? I can assure if Raila was there, because of his past, he would have resolved this problem. We will not be where we are today. We are where we are today because of inexperienced politicians, at least with matters to do with regional politics and international politics. We have William Ruto there. So, you know, so you can see the way the whole thing is being handled. Let me tell you, Jed, Raila has fought for democracy. Raila has been detained. Raila is not going to let his legacy go under the smoke or to go in the smoke because of a few individuals who are in bed with Kenya Kwanza government. Those are business people. Those are not true ODM members. Those are business people. They are there for their selfish reasons. If you cut their hand, you will not find the ODM blood there. Oh. You'll find other, other things. You'll find other things, bad things. Because ODM members have pure blood. And please take this one to the bank. That Raila, once he goes to AU, the party will remain strong. The party will remain within the coalition because it is not... Raila would want to leave a team behind to work with other like-minded Kenyans to continue this legacy of fighting corruption, fighting tribalism, dealing with incompetence, protecting democracy, completely finishing extrajudicial killings and the murder of our innocent children. That is what Raila stands for. So are you telling me Raila will join Kenya Kwanza? Are you telling me Raila will join Kenya Kwanza, or he will allow his legacy to go down to Kenya Kwanza? Raila has been on record, said, I only gave them experts because they were short of experts. They had nothing. They had just useless people. So they said, please, give us some experts. The question you should be asking me is that, how well are the experts doing? But don't ask me, ODM is not part of government. And the Secretary General has been very clear. The party leader is very clear. Let Kenya Kwanza deal with the issues. If they are failing, let them fail alone. And we can see the house already crumpling. By the time the Deputy President, who is just an appointee, they normally say in Sheng, you barua yako imeandikwa na mate. The minute the saliva dries up, you have no job. That is his situation. For heaven's sake, Professor Kindiki should remember, he's just yake ni ya kalamu, ya mate. He's just been appointed by William Ruto. He can be fired. So to but Cecil Mbarile, my good friend, and our wife, cannot be fired. Only people can fire her. How can Kindiki talk that way? But, Jed.
To set the record straight on Raila, Jed, with or without him, the opposition is strong.
Very strong. Because the opposition is not an individual. The opposition are the people of Kenya. 57 million Kenyans.
Against?
Against one man Ruto. 57 million Kenyans against one man Ruto. That's where the opposition is. And Raila is a smart guy, I can tell you, Jed. Raila knows. Raila, he analyzes and say, this is where the wananchi, twende na wananchi. Atawacha huyu mtu kwa mataa.
Thanks for tuning into that conversation all about coalitions. Who do you think should be the face at the steering wheel when it comes to unseating Ruto, either now or in 2027? Just as always, we always wrap up with final words from Kisia. What are we wrapping up the week with?
Jed, a sad week it has been. We found 2 bodies were discovered, as I told you earlier. And I want you to look for this video as we close. Justin Muturi, JB, my friend, he has spoken on behalf of Kenyans. He has spoken on behalf of 57 million Kenyans.
The head of government is the president. This matter must be discussed. We cannot just say that you are in government or the other. No. Everybody who is involved must come out. And government exists, among other things, to protect their lives and property of the citizens. This is a very serious matter, and actually it should take the anger of this country, because why are we allowing young boys and girls to be kidnapped, only later to be found killed? Surely, what kind of country are we? This is a very serious issue. I mean, the number of people that have died are so many that it should prick the conscience of any right-thinking leader in this country. That's my position. Say the issue of resignation, not resignation, is a signed issue.
That's CS Justin Muturi. Philip Kisia says the issue is not even him resigning. The issue is President Ruto must fix this. Why are people dying?
I agree entirely with my good friend JB Muturi. It is not even about the position. It is more serious. We are losing, our children are being murdered through extrajudicial means. Murder, brutally murdered, and being thrown all over. Okay? So this flag is nothing. Because even if you don't have these children, which is the generation of tomorrow, why are we working? Why should you work? Why should you be talking about the economy? And the children are not there. The future, you are killing the future. So I agree entirely with JB Muturi that time has come where President Ruto needs to look at himself in the mirror and ask himself a question. Have I failed this country? From where I'm sitting, he has failed completely, Jed. Because the job of the commander-in-chief is to ensure that his people, number one, the people are safe. When you have people being slaughtered all over, children for that matter, can you even stand in front of people and smile and give them a smile unless you are abnormal? Unless you are abnormal. Any normal human being would have tendered his or her resignation today or yesterday when this last young man was discovered, brutally murdered. Because he's not the first one. We've had several of them murdered, brutally. So I agree with Justin. Who bears the highest responsibility? Is it not William Ruto?
It's the president.
It's the president. Now, when you have failed, what should you be doing? Are you waiting to be forced to resign? You should be resigning yourself. Don't wait to be forced to resign. Because you see, as JB said, we are getting to a point where people are getting impatient. And the question I was going to ask Kenyans is, why are you not angry enough when your children are being murdered extrajudicially? Why are you not angry enough? Let me end by saying this, Jed.
Yeah.
I'll say this. I don't know what the future holds, but I know who holds the future. 1 Samuel 38. Okay? Look for that verse. And William should read that verse. And I repeat, for his sake, I don't know what the future holds, but I know who holds the future. 1 Samuel 30:8. There is hope. And therefore, you can all of us say that I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith that this country will be free. Free and free forever. And freedom is coming. And we are going to finish this race well.
Well, what a conversation about the state of this country. Kisia says, one day, there will be freedom. He's saying freedom is coming tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in. Have yourself a lovely rest of your day.
What gives him the idea that he can do as he wishes? This is not his personal house. This is not for going. I think the president needs to stop being simplistic.
Is there a vacuum post Raila?
Play one clip where Ruto has spoken truthfully.